In this video, we describe the rectangular coordinate plane. A rectangular coordinate plane is a flat surface formed by two intersecting lines. The horizontal line, called the x-axis, and a vertical line, called the y-axis. The point or location here where the axes intersect is called the origin. And the axes are divided up into equal increments from the origin. This location being 0, 0, and values to the left along the x-axis to the left of the origin are negative. And you can count by ones, or you can count by twos or threes, or whatever you want to count by. Just make sure you're consistent. So I'm counting by ones right now. And values to the right of the origin along the x-axis are positive. All right. And before we go any further, let's look this arrow here. It shows the order. And so that the values along the x-axis are increasing as you go from left to right. For example, this -5 here, if you compare -5 with -2, -2 is larger than -5. Why? Because it's further to the right. All right. And let's go ahead and write the values for the y-axis in a similar way, just up and down. 2, -3, -4. Right? And the coordinate plane is useful for specifying location and in daily life for making maps. The coordinate plane consists of 4 regions called quadrants. Any point in this region here that I'm circling is said to be in quadrant 1. Any point in this region here is said to be in quadrant 2. Any point in this region here is said to be in quadrant 3. And any point in this region here is said to be in quadrant 4. By point, we just mean an ordered pair. By point in the plane, we mean an ordered pair. And so points are signified by ordered pairs. Let me write this down. An ordered pair let's just emphasize this a little more. XY is used for represent points on representing a point, not points. Point on the coordinate plane. All right, so in this ordered pair XY here, X is always first and Y is always the second value. And now let's look at a few practice problems related to these ideas. Example, suppose we want to plot, this is a common question related to this concept. Plot each point and tell which quadrant the point lies. Let's say the first question is C, and let's say C is at -3, 2. And the second point, let's say, is D. Let's say D is at -1, -4. And the last point, let's call it F, and let's say F is at 0, -3. And our goal is to plot each of these points on the coordinate plane and tell which quadrant the point lies in, right? So for 1, here C is -3, 2, and we can see that the x coordinate is -3. Why? Because it's the first value always. The second, the y coordinate is 2, right? So we would need to make a coordinate plane and then just sketch this, plot this point on the coordinate plane. So let's go ahead and divide the coordinate plane up. Get some values up here. Let's say we're counting by ones. If these were 5 and 13, I would probably count by 2s or 3s so that I can fit the coordinates onto the coordinate plane. So, but because this is -3 and 2, these are small values. So I don't need to count by a big number, big increments, right? So just be mindful of what points you're given, and then that can determine what types of values should be on your coordinate plane. Right? And so I need to go -3 along the x-axis and 2 along the y. So that point looks like it's going to be right about there. All right? And we'll put C here. Now, if you kind of misplace C, it might be unclear to if you're in the class, it might be unclear to someone where that C is. So it's good practice to put the coordinates of C, so instead of just saying C or writing C, write the ordered pair associated with C. So -3, 2. So that is very, very clear where C is located. And you can also extend little dotted lines to the horizontal and vertical axes to make it even more clear where C is located. All right, and now which quadrant does C lie in? So we go back up and we see that C looks to be in quadrant 2. So we'd say C in quadrant 2, like that. And let's do the next one for 2. This time D is the point -1, -4. So X is -1, Y is -4. So I need to go -1 along the x-axis, -4 along the y-axis. That point looks to be about right there when I'm making a circle. So D, -1, comma, -4. And you can see which quadrant this lies in. This looks like it is in quadrant 3. See here, quadrant 3. D in quadrant 3. Right? And last question here. This time we have F0, -3. X is 0, Y is 3. So since X is 0, that means we go nowhere along the x-axis. We don't go to the right and we don't go to the left. But we do go 3 units down. So if you go 3 units down along the y-axis, this is the location of F right here, 0, -3. And what quadrant does that lie in? It's not in quadrant 3. It's not in quadrant 4. F lies along the y-axis. All right, that's it. If you found this video helpful, like and subscribe. Also, check out our t-shirt merchandise at the website below. Math is order. It's not just about numbers and symbols. Find out those things bringing disorder in your life and see if they can be ended.